In Letter 9 of the Screwtape Letters by C.S. Lewis, the tactical genius of Screwtape, a senior devil, is on full display as he instructs his nephew Wormwood on the best way to exploit the patient's current low point. High school students will appreciate the cunning strategies Screwtape suggests as they highlight the psychological complexity of human faith and the persistent nature of temptation. Screwtape begins the letter by emphasizing the significance of the patient's trough, or low point. In these moments, he explains, the devilish tempters have prime opportunities to exert their influence. Screwtape notes that humans, when feeling weary and unhappy, are particularly susceptible to temptation, especially those of a sexual nature. Essentially, any vice can be nurtured in these periods of emotional and spiritual downturn. However, Screwtape's approach reveals a fundamental element about the nature of temptation. The devils twist what the enemy or God has created, pleasure, and corrupt it into something sinful and forbidden. This insight not only highlights the perverted imitation of divine creation, but also sets the stage for deeper psychological manipulation. The crux of Screwtape's strategy centers on manipulating the patient's perception of his faith journey. Screwtape advises Wormwood to prevent the patient from recognizing the natural law of undulation, which describes the human experience as a series of peaks and troughs. By convincing the patient that his spiritual highs were meant to be a permanent state and that his current low is equally permanent, he sets up a fertile ground for despair or complacency. This approach showcases Screwtape's understanding of human psychology as it taps into the patient's innate desire for stability and certainty while simultaneously exploiting his vulnerabilities. Screwtape then discusses tailoring the strategy based on the patient's temperament. For those prone to despair, the goal is to isolate them from experienced Christians and convince them to regain their spiritual fervor solely through willpower, a task doomed to failure and likely to deepen their despondency. Conversely, for more optimistic individuals, Screwtape suggests downplaying the severity of the trough. He advises Wormwood to make the patient believe that his initial enthusiasm was excessive and that religion in moderation is the path to follow. This idea is insidious as it leads the patient to dilute his faith, making it less central to his life and thus easier for Wormwood to secure his soul. A particularly fascinating theme in this letter is the manipulation of thought and language. Screwtape instructs Wormwood to avoid logical reasoning and instead rely on jargon, such as referring to the patient's religious fervor as a phase. This kind of language carries connotations that can subtly undermine the patient's faith. By viewing his earlier religious experience as just a phase, the patient is likely to adopt a patronizing attitude towards it, thereby distancing himself from the depth and sincerity of his belief. This tactic reveals the power of language and thought manipulation in shaping one's perceptions and attitudes. In closing, Screwtape's letter underscores the importance of keeping the patient focused on shallow, self-centered thoughts rather than the deeper truths of faith. By promoting the notion that his spirituality was merely a phase, Wormwood can foster a sense of triviality and transience towards his religious commitments. This deliberate shift from truth to superficiality is at the core of Screwtape's advice, showing how the battle for the human soul can be fought on psychological and intellectual fronts. Overall, Letter 9 provides a rich exploration of the themes of temptation, the manipulation of human psychology, and the importance of genuine faith. Lewis's use of humor and irony makes these deep concepts accessible and engaging for high school students, encouraging them to think critically about their own experiences and beliefs. It also serves as a reminder of the constant struggle between good and evil, and the need for vigilance in maintaining one's spiritual integrity. And as always, if you liked this Bookly Crash Course video, please take a moment to smash that like button and leave a comment down below. Thank you so much. This content wouldn't be possible without the support of viewers like you.